Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're tackling Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck.
Oh, this one is a classic. It's really a game changer.
It is, right. And I think it's not just for self-improvement junkies.
Definitely not.
This book has some serious implications for literally everyone,
Absolutely.
whether you're a student or a parent or a CEO.
It really gets to the core of how we think about success.
Yeah, and Dweck's main argument is this super powerful idea. It's the difference between, what she calls a fixed mindset and a growth mindset.
Right. Like, do you believe that your abilities are just set in stone, or do you believe that you can actually develop and grow?
And it's kind of mind-blowing when you start to think about how much our beliefs about this actually shape our actions and our results.
Oh, absolutely. And it starts, really early on. Dweck talks about this experience she had in sixth grade.
Oh yeah, with her teacher, Mrs. Wilson.
Yes, Mrs. Wilson, who, she actually arranged the students in her class by IQ.
Can you imagine? Even back then, Dweck was like, this is messed up.
It's crazy, right? It's such a clear example of how a fixed mindset can be instilled, even unintentionally.
And how damaging it can be, especially for young kids.
Totally. Because if you're told that your intelligence is basically predetermined, it can really limit your sense of what you're capable of.
And then later in the book, Dweck does this deep dive into, the impact of mindset on things like effort and failure.
Oh, yeah. This is huge because, effort is often seen as a bad thing in a fixed mindset.
It's like if you have to try hard, it means you're not naturally talented.
Exactly. And that can lead to people avoiding challenges altogether.
Just to, protect their ego.
Exactly. But a growth mindset is like, hey, effort is the path to mastery.
Yeah, and it's what allows you to develop your skills and get better over time.
Dweck talks about Michael Jordan, right?
Oh, yeah, the classic example. Cut from his high school basketball team.
But he didn't let that define him.
He just kept practicing, kept working hard, and became, Michael Jordan.
It's such a good reminder that even the most successful people don't just rely on talent.
Right. They put in the work, they embrace the struggle.
And they view setbacks as, opportunities to learn and grow.
Okay, so now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This sounds great in theory, but how do I actually, shift my own mindset?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
And Dweck gives some really practical advice. It starts with becoming aware of your own fixed mindset triggers.
Those moments when you, feel yourself getting defensive or giving up easily.
Right. And then it's about consciously challenging those thoughts and reframing your perspective.
So, instead of saying, I'm terrible at this, you might say, okay, this is tough, but I can learn and improve with practice.
Exactly. It's about shifting your focus from proving your worth to embracing the process of learning and growth.
Which is not always easy, but the potential benefits are, enormous.
Absolutely. Because when you believe you can grow, you open yourself up to a whole world of possibilities.
And you become more resilient, more adaptable.
And ultimately, more successful in whatever you set your mind to.
And it's not just about, individual success.
Right. Dweck also talks about the impact of mindset on relationships, parenting, even the workplace.
Yeah, there's so much more to unpack here. We've barely scratched the surface.
Definitely.
But hopefully this has given you a taste of the power of mindset.
And how it can really transform your approach to life.
Absolutely. So stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive, where we'll delve into more specific examples of how you can actually put these ideas into practice.
I can't wait. Welcome back. We're deep in mindset territory.
One of the things that really stuck with me from the first part was how Dweck talks about effort, how it's perceived so differently depending on your mindset.
Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? In a fixed mindset, effort is almost seen as a weakness.
Right. If you have to try hard means you're not good enough.
Exactly. And that can be really limiting, especially in the workplace.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine a boss who has a fixed mindset.
Oh, I know, right? They're probably going to be less likely to invest in their employees' development.
Yeah, because they might think, well, this person is just not cut out for this.
Instead of seeing it as an opportunity for growth.
And Dweck actually uses a really interesting example in the book.
Oh, yeah. Kenneth Lay, the CEO of Enron.
Right. His fixed mindset and his, obsession with appearing infallible.
It really played a role in the company's downfall.
It's a pretty stark warning.
It is. But then she contrasts that with leaders who have a growth mindset.
Like Jack Welch at GE.
Oh, yeah, he was all about learning and development, right?
Totally. Creating a culture where people felt comfortable taking risks and making mistakes.
Because he understood that's how you innovate and grow as a company.
It's so inspiring when you see those kinds of examples.
It is. It really shows the power of a growth mindset.
So let's talk about like practical tips.
Yeah.
How can we like actually cultivate a growth mindset in the workplace?
Well, I think it starts with awareness, right? Noticing those moments when you're shying away from feedback or getting defensive when you make a mistake.
Yeah, those are big red flags.
They are. And then it's about consciously challenging those thoughts and reframing your perspective.
So like instead of beating yourself up over a mistake,
You can ask yourself, okay, what can I learn from this?
how can I do better next time?
Exactly. And if you're in a leadership position, it's about creating that culture of growth.
Encouraging feedback, celebrating effort, and viewing mistakes as learning opportunities.
Yeah, it's about creating a safe space for people to experiment and grow.
Because ultimately, that's how you get the best out of your team.
Absolutely. And it's not just about work, right? Dweck's ideas apply to, like, all areas of life.
Yeah, especially parenting. This is where it gets really interesting.
Because as parents, we have a huge influence on our kids' mindsets.
Oh, totally. And it starts with the messages we send them.
Like, are we praising them for being smart?
Or are we praising them for their effort and perseverance?
That's a big one.
Dweck gives this great example of, like, instead of saying, you're so smart,
You could say, wow, you really worked hard on that and didn't give up.
it's about shifting the focus from the outcome to the process,
And teaching kids that their abilities aren't fixed.
that they can learn and grow with practice and effort.
And, another important thing is how we handle failure.
Oh, yeah, this is huge.
Because let's face it, kids are going to fail.
All the time.
Right. And it's how we react to those failures that really shapes their mindset.
So instead of getting upset or like trying to shield them from failure,
You can help them see it as a learning opportunity.
like, what did you learn from this? What could you do differently next time?
Exactly. It's about teaching them resilience and a growth mindset.
And Dweck even suggests creating a mistake ritual in the classroom
Oh, I love that.
where kids share their mistakes and what they learned from them,
It normalizes failure and takes away the shame
which is so important because we all make mistakes
all the time. It's part of being human.
and it's how we learn and grow.
Exactly. And those lessons, they apply to any relationship where you're mentoring or supporting someone else.
Yeah, it's about believing in their potential and helping them see challenges as opportunities.
And remember, it's an ongoing process.
Oh, absolutely. Shifting to a growth mindset, it's not a one-time fix,
It's something we have to keep working on.
but the rewards are so worth it.
I agree. Because when we embrace a growth mindset, we open ourselves up to a whole new world of possibilities.
And that's what this deep dive is all about. So stay tuned for part 3, where we'll talk about some more practical strategies for cultivating a growth mindset in all areas of our lives.
So we've talked a lot about the power of a growth mindset.
We have. And, I think one of the biggest takeaways for me has been how much our self-talk influences our mindset.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the things we tell ourselves, they really make a difference.
Because if you're constantly putting yourself down or, like, focusing on your weaknesses,
It's going to be really hard to embrace a growth mindset.
totally. And Dweck gives some great advice on how to become more aware of our self-talk.
Yeah, like paying attention to those negative thoughts that pop up.
And then, like, consciously challenging them.
So instead of saying, I'm such a failure, you might say, okay, I made a mistake, but what can I learn from this?
Yeah. It's about reframing those negative thoughts into something more constructive.
And it takes practice. It's not always easy to catch yourself in those moments.
But the more you do it, the easier it gets.
And the more you start to believe in your ability to grow and learn.
And, another thing that Dweck emphasizes is the importance of focusing on the process, not just the outcome.
Oh, yeah, that's huge.
Because, like, if you're only focused on the end goal,
It can be really discouraging if you don't achieve it right away.
exactly.
Yeah.
But when you focus on the process,
You can celebrate those small wins along the way
and you're more likely to stick with it even when things get tough.
because you're enjoying the journey, not just obsessing over the destination.
And, one thing I've been trying to do more of is to, like, actively seek out challenges
Oh, that's a great strategy.
because it's easy to get comfortable, right?
Totally. But when we step outside of our comfort zone,
That's when we really grow.
and it doesn't have to be like some huge life-altering challenge.
It could be something small, like learning a new skill or taking on a new project at work.
Anything that stretches you and helps you develop new abilities.
And I think it's important to remember that, like, setbacks are inevitable,
Oh, they are. Everyone experiences setbacks.
but it's how we respond to them that really matters.
Do we let them define us, or do we see them as opportunities for learning and growth?
That's the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset.
And it's something we can choose every single day.
I think that's a really powerful message to end on.
It is. And hopefully this deep dive has inspired you to embrace a growth mindset in your own life.
Because it's never too late to start learning and growing.
Absolutely. And the possibilities are truly endless.
So go out there and challenge yourself.
Embrace the journey and never stop learning.
That's what it's all about. This is great too for this deep dive into mindset.